Hey, how's it going, guys? All right, let's just make sure I fit this here. There we go. How you guys doing? So we got in the chat here. We got Max Wild. Nice seeing you in here again, man. Let's see. What's up? Wonderbar. Tom Struct. Deborah. How you guys doing? How is the new trading strategy testing so far, Kyle? It's doing all right. I'm trying to incorporate Fibonacci as a part of my regular day trading to front run my core strategy, so I'll know, so I can get in earlier, give myself better risk to reward ratios, and then use my core strategy as a tool to tell me when to stay in the trade, since usually Fibonacci strategies allow you to front run the kind of entries that I usually look for. It probably will reduce my win rate, but increase my profitability. So it's just a matter of making sure I can identify what an A+ setup is under like a lower time frame environment, like the 3-minute time frame, for example. But yeah, so far so good. Let's see, can you please do a review of altcoins to buy today? Well, I wouldn't say nothing to buy right now until we confirm a reversal, but we can go over some stuff that is on the low side and find out like what we need to wait for to validate an entry. Like there's going to be a lot of like early front run opportunities, but they'll come with unique boundaries. For example, we're heading right down on Bitcoin's chart. Let's see if I can get this magnet tool working here. There we go. So if we grab from this local low to this local high, after we had this change of character, we can start to prepare for like the local 786 for a potential entry to front run a bigger confirmation of a reversal. For example, we have this downtrend here that kind of like stacked a large amount of liquidity, especially during this area right here, that we already kind of grabbed. But when we came back down, you know, shorts were activated and a bunch of liquidity was added back above here and around here. So we could potentially prepare for a front run entry in the lower time frames, enter down here, but this is going to be a core barrier for us to watch out for, just in case we end up getting rejected there again. This becomes a range to confirm a lower low. Like we could actually end up getting that lower low during this current internal downtrend and invalidate this whole setup idea. But yeah. But to like actually confirm a proper reversal, this level needs to be broken first based on the current structure that we have. So if we break that, then we'll have acceptance back inside this value area right here. And then we can likely rotate right back up to 1006 while being mindful of the POC barrier at 104.9 roughly here. Well, yeah, we can take it one little step at a time. We might even get the trade in during this live. So what I would mark right now is the low of the 786. Since we already invalidated the golden pocket as a recovery location. And let me take a look here. Zoom in on the lower time frames. So what you would want to see on the lower time frames, we have this downtrending momentum here. The current core area of interest is right here. That needs to be broken. But we might have a better one soon. We haven't technically tapped into the 786 yet. That'll happen around here. We have the confluence of a 5-minute order block. So we might get that retest around here or retest here, and that'll become our core area. Once we bounce, just because there's just a level of confluence doesn't mean we're going to be jumping in with a limit order or anything like that. We still want that change of character on at least the 3-minute time frame after the test, and then we can jump in. And then we'd watch for internal targets first. Like the 3-minute target would be up here. But if we break past this, then we can start focusing on the 15-minute level right here. If we break past this, then we can start, you know what I mean? Then you start rotating your focus on the initial barriers on your screen, on the charts. But yeah, that's what I'm currently waiting for. It's this level right here to be tapped, and then hopefully get the change of character afterwards to finalize the trade and confirm an entry. And this could initially, it will start off potentially around as a 1 to, we'll see what happens when we get it first. But we want to get at least a 1 to 2 to our first core area of interest, and then it could evolve and become like a 1 to 6 or more or greater, right? We'll see what happens first. If it ends up getting front run and we get the break now, then it no longer becomes based on Fibonacci confluence. We could just have structural Wyckoff accumulation right here, the inverse head and shoulders. And that would give us a whole other thing, but I'd probably wait for the retest for that entry. That would bring us right to pretty much the top of the primary liquidity that's been stacked from this downtrend here. If that level breaks there. Okay, what we got in the chat here? Straight up cubic shill. Could you please make... yeah, we could do technical analysis on cubic if you want. And Max asked to look over some altcoins to buy today. So as you guys do TA requests, we can find out potentially what ones could be good to potentially buy. So we can go from there. So if we pull up, I just want to grab a cubic chart. What's the best liquidity on cubic? Will probably be Gate.io. Zoom out a bit. Okay, so this is cubic. It's been on a downtrend ever since. Well, this isn't a great chart. This is not showing us. I know cubic's older, got more data than this. Let's look at BitGet. No, this isn't great either. But still inside this descending channel for cubic. On it, we're looking at the daily. So if the daily candle closes above this level, we can confirm a local SFP and potentially get a rotation back up to these highs up here. Let's zoom in on the 15-minute. It's looking a lot like everything else. Grab a Fibonacci, swing low, swing high. We could approach this golden pocket as an area of confluence. We have a 15-minute order block. And these lows here where we could potentially have an SFP as well. So we have quite a bit of confluences to prepare for a bounce around this zone on the 15-minute time frame. We can use this as our momentum right here. So if we get a bounce off this momentum, it becomes our core area of interest, and we would wait for the bounce, then a change of character. And then you could enter along after the change of character. And then use the low that's generated as your stop loss guard and target these highs. It's almost 2 years old, but the charts aren't showing on. Yeah, when assets like rebrand and stuff like that, kind of breaks the charts. Like Matic has broken their charts like 2 or 3 times since I've started trading. But cubic, that's it in the local time frames. In macro, daily, we're still building this descending channel, and it's stacking more and more liquidity above every area of interest. So normally these will break to the upside because of that, because we're taking liquidity along the way down, and on the lower side, but we're adding it on the upper side. So that's why flags and descending channels in general have a greater chance of breaking to the upside. But you still want to wait for that confirmation. Never assume. Well, that's cubic right now. Let's go back to the Bitcoin chart for a second. I don't want to miss any opportunities, so I'm going to set some alarms. We broke the downtrending momentum on the 3-minute. The measurable base target is way down here. Yeah, it looks like it's going to head to this target. The risk to reward ratio isn't great though. So 1 to 1.89, sorry. So that's going to keep me out of the trade. But we have this move here. So if anyone's already in on the trade from down here or here, then this would be a reason to stay in. Your stop loss should be roughly around here. What do we got in the chat? We've got, can you look at Cardano? Possible long short scenario. You were just doing the Finova 30-day trader certification. You got this. Yeah, nice, right on. All right, cool. All right, so let's leave this running and let's look at Cardano for Tamale. So we already have a Cardano chart, so I'm going to pull that up. ADA. Cardano's still chilling here. Yeah, this is an area where you want to prepare for longs with Cardano. So right now we're at a value area low. Right here. From this active range. We already had a bounce around here after grabbing liquidity from below this area here. So preferably we can get a slow drop coming in and then a higher high. This is the hourly time frame, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit on to the 15. Cardano has a lot of Bitcoin pairing liquidity, so if Bitcoin is going to pump, Cardano will likely do some short-term relative base moves based on that. So with Bitcoin's little pump action here, we might see Cardano come up as well. And it does look like Cardano has a little tiny bit of relative strength against Bitcoin because it's closer to its local high than Bitcoin is. So this is the uptrending momentum I would track. Zoom in on the 5. So what you kind of would want to wait for with Cardano is confirmation of acceptance into the value area. So we're at a value area low. I don't know why these things keep moving around. It's really frustrating. The value area data is just all over the place with TradingView lately. But anyways, if we get a break above this neckline here, and we see it act as support with a break of structure, like this, for example, coming up, break, come back down, then break of structure. That would be acceptance into the value area, and this validating as a form of support at the same time and mitigating this supply concern. And that will allow us to have targets to, I wouldn't target the extreme high in this scenario, unless something in the structure tells you to do so. But what I'll be watching out for is this local value area right here. You want to bank on price action doing pretty much the same thing that we're wanting to see happen here. We want to see acceptance into here with a break of structure, seeing the value area low act as support. And then you can target that high, and hopefully it breaks above that, and then you can start targeting the point of control, like one step at a time. But this is our first primary barrier of concern after this acts as a form of support, and we get that acceptance that we're looking for in here. But this is definitely a zone where you want to prepare for longs, and this could potentially be a front run to the break of this downtrending momentum if we get that break shortly afterwards and see it act as support, and it gives us a crazy measurable base target of $1.80 if we break this level to the upside. So we'll wait for the first step right around here. So I'm gonna set an alarm because this could be great. Depending on how the structure appears when this breaks, it could be a great signal for the community. So I'll set this once per bar close on the 15-minute time frame. We'll do ADA potential long. Cool. In that rotation, what percentage wise? Even just to the top, yeah, 13%. So that's pretty good. It's all relative to your stop loss and your risk, though. Is it me or is Kyle looking more sexy? Thanks, man. So many fuzzer. Yeah, there are a lot of otters in here. Man. I was buying the dip in my sleep. Oh, you're using Luminors. Nice. Any indicators from weekend to foreseeable drop? The drop that I'm worried about, we kind of already went through that, but if we look at this is the 4 hour, it's looking pretty rough. If we get the lower low, then that's the opposite of what we're kind of looking for with the intern. Remember when we were looking at Cardano where we want to see a acceptance into the value area, right? By having that break of structure. Now, if we see that happen here with Bitcoin, if we get the lower low, then we'll end up getting like internal break of structure and acceptance into this value area, and that could cause a drop that'll allow us to target super low levels like 95,500 around this point of control here, grabbing the liquidity from below here and here. And maybe even if we break past that, we could go as low as like 92K again. And that would just help confirm this as a huge macro range between 92K and the all-time high, basically 92K and 108K, and that's a huge range, guys. Like, this is kind of like a trader's dream. You want to see massive ranges like this. So some people will see this confirmation as a negative light, but the people who like to range trade will love that. So if we get that lower low acceptance, we can get it on the hourly. We have a proper pullback here. We can get it on the 30-minute and the 15-minute, so long as we get a candle to close below this level here. But if we instead get that acceptance up here, then that's kind of like a rejection of us getting that acceptance into that more macro value area, and we could range above a little bit longer. So we're basically going to make it or break it moment for Bitcoin right now for holding this level. But if we rotate down, I think that's going to be more healthy for Bitcoin longer term. The on-chain data will start to reset a little bit more. What is it? Chain exposed. Oop, wrong chart. Right here. And like this is resetting more and more and more. So we get, right now we only have yesterday's data on this chart because it's the lagging free version. But if we get today's data on here, this would probably be reset all the way down to like 1.35 or lower. Basically extending the bull market. Yeah, there it goes. It's almost about halfway to that target. We have XDC. I don't think I've looked that one up yet. Let's take a peek. KuCoin. I'll look at it on Bybit. Bybit's got really good liquidity. Do I trust that wick? That's the thing. Yeah, might as well count it in. Because it was prior to the change of character, so I'll trust the wick. And let's grab. Yeah, so basically I'm just going to box this zone here. I've had some pretty awesome tips from Alex of Crypto on Fibonacci. I've been one to basically avoid Fibonacci as part of my strategy, because like when I first started trading, I back tested absolutely everything, and like I did most of my back testing to try to discover like what kind of trading style I want to do as a trader between like in late 2018 and around like to like mid 2019. So I was doing a lot of back testing, like what formations are more likely to break to this direction, what formations more likely to break to that direction, what how do I back test a confirmation, what indicators work well with this indicator, stuff like that. And when I did my back testing for Fibonacci back then, obviously like Fibonacci is like a skill based indicator. So back then when I had no skill, I would think, oh, okay, the Fibonacci doesn't work because the back testing results are garbage, and the results are based on your skill pulls. So I kind of boycotted Fibonacci as part of my trading strategy because of that. And I was happy with the results that I had with the way I decided to trade. But now, like, I'm seeing these like other traders like Thesis and Alex of Crypto and doing extremely well with Fibonacci, and they're all front running my entries, and they just use my signals as a way of saying, okay, we're staying in because Kyle's going in. So yeah, so now I kind of want to do the same thing, front run my own strategy by like adding rules align with Fibonacci to tell me when to stay in and stuff like that. So zooming out on XDC, it looks pretty bullish. Like we are coming down right now on the daily to retest with this neckline here, right? We have a crazy wick up here at 20 cents. I was just listening to the wind outside. It's crazy out there. So we want to keep and hold this as support on the daily right here. We can dip down below as much as we want on the lower time frames, but we don't want to go below this and see it act as resistance. We want to try to hold this. So right now we're coming down to this demand zone here. That could be honored as a form of support. So what I recommend doing if you're a holder or a trader of XDC, just pull a fixed range volume profile off of this level right here. I would even zoom in a little bit just to refine that pull. Because you want to pull it until you find the confirmation of the exit right here. And let's go right about there. Well, there's the confirmation then right here. Right, so we have the retest, the higher high, confirming that we're leaving this value area and moving on to to create a new one or to go back into a previous one. So pull the valley area data from that and use it as a tool to help guide you with an active price action. Because these are great confluences when you're preparing for entries and stuff like that. All right, previous high. The previous value area low is in line with the area of interest for the daily neckline. Right here. So, if you're looking for an ideal entry, like an A+ setup entry would be around this location. Doesn't mean we won't, deny a lower low and get a break of this level to give us a return back up here. But if we end up getting that higher high and this previous value or high acts as support again, then we'll probably just rotate back up. But if we get the lower low, then we're probably just gonna come right down to this previous value area low where we can prepare for a really good long position. Let's see what happens. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I just slingshot my trend line. Let's just delete that. Current seller's momentum here. And we've got evolving momentum here. Then we zoom in a little bit further. Yeah. All right, cool. And these momentums they're great for time guides. How long will it likely take for us to reverse? Like 7 hours if we stayed here, or if we got the lower low, it could take up to 23 hours for us to get the reversal. Great thumbnail. Thanks, man. I figured I'll start putting thumbnails on these lives so you guys can actually differentiate between all the different lives we're doing, because I just keep I just never really have time to do the thumbnail, but now I've got time. I could start doing them. Okay, can we look at Troy? Was the next one? The old charts are the only one. Okay. Kyle, I'm waiting on a swing failure pattern tap on TIA to fire along. What are your thoughts on that? Let's look at that, because TIA, someone just mentioned about potentially looking at assets to potentially buy. And if we look at TIA, guys, TIA's at a price discovery SFP level. And it doesn't get really better than that when you're trying to get a buy and a confirmed reversal at the same time. So if we zoom in, this is TIA's chart. We have to look at the daily to kind of truly show what Poyo is talking about in the chat. So here is what'd you say, 373, right? Yeah, 372 is on my chart here with this low, but it's based on the chart that you look at, right? I'm looking at Binance, so my low might be different than the low that you're looking at on your side. So what we want to see to confirm the swing failure pattern, so we'll put a line right here, and then we'll put a separate line on this wick right here, right? We want, in an ideal scenario, would be us grabbing the liquidity from below this level and then having the body of the candle, the daily candle, to close back up here. So grab up here, then close. On the super low time frames, it'll look like a V-shaped recovery. On here, it'll just look like we're coming down, doing a sweep of liquidity, and then closing up here. So you might be able to front run it on the lower time frames, but honestly, the daily is going to provide you a really good gains too. And daily SFPs are super reliable. So hopefully we get something like that. Because if you zoom out on this asset, this might not be the full chart, but I believe it actually is. But this is basically a price discovery SFP, because we haven't really been down below these levels in a very, very long time, since launch. If this is the launch date. Like November of 2023. It's been a couple years. Well, hopefully that happens, because that would be an amazing opportunity. It looks like I was preparing for an SFP there too, and it didn't happen. We didn't get the confirmation. Hopefully get this one. If a body closes below this, it gets terrifying though. If we get actual body close, like below this wick level, it'll look out, because it could go a lot lower. So if you're looking for something to buy, wait for that reaction, because that could be an incredible opportunity. Even if it only makes it to the value area low before it acts as resistance, then you could still, get like 20%. It's nuts. But I would try to hold. If you get in that low, then you have yourself an opportunity to keep your stop loss relatively close to your entry, and have an emotionless hold, so you can potentially bring this all the way back up to the value area high again, and give yourself a much bigger opportunity of potentially even 60% without leverage. That's pretty good. Let's look at the 15-minute and see what's happening though. We look at the 15. Yeah, we didn't grab this low. This would be a scenario where you want to use the use Argus indicator. So Argus will show you if there has been a wick that could have. Whenever you have this scenario where it's super tightly close to a previous wick, you want to turn on Argus to see if maybe another exchange grabbed the liquidity before pulling it back up through here. But in this case, it doesn't look like that's the case. So we can remove that. I'd still mark these levels though, just in case we come back down. And this is our current longer time frame area of confluence that we want to see. We want to see this break to confirm this double bottom and give us a measurable base move of 431. We have a supply concern right here and an order block within it. So we just have to mark that zone 2. When you have a supply concern right in your face like that, it's best to just, one sec here. Yeah, it's best to have the break, mitigate it, supply risk, right? And then retest and go for the higher high. So this will probably prompt the pullback for the retest. And then your patience will thank you for it, because normally what would happen is if we mitigate this, we will either get a harsh rejection and then this becomes a range, or we'll have the confirmation bounce, use this as our stop loss, and it'll tell us that we're using this as buy side liquidity to promote the move based on the momentum up to like 432. We got at 272. Yeah, hopefully it wouldn't go down there. That zone at 272 you're talking about on TIA, it's technically a demand zone. So the positive side of that this would likely act as a strong form of support. But it'd be the last form of support. So that's where it gets scary. And that just tells you that TIA is getting like its market share is absorbed by all the other new tokens that are being created. Gives you an idea of what the better assets are out there and what you should be focusing on. That's why I kind of boycotted Matic after breaking certain key levels that other network tokens haven't. TIA USDT on the weekly head and shoulders. Well, head and shoulders on a scale like that, I see what you're trying to see. Like this potentially being the left shoulder, this being the head, and then we had that bounce here. So in order for it to be considered a shoulder, you need to have at least 2 candles going in the opposing direction, right? And we only have one, a green candle, or blue in this case. We want to have 2 candles and then the pullback. So it's actually considered a break of structure in that time frame. So you can actually say that this is a shoulder of the right side. But yeah, I can see it's the same kind of behavior as a head and shoulders, but it's not technically valid yet. Or yeah, we could still bounce here and create that shoulder and get the lower low, and then this will just be internal. What I think is just as likely. But the measurable base target of that, let me go back to that. You also got to look at the realism of some targets too. The targeting of this would be pretty wildly aggressive. It brings it below, 146. So we'll see what happens. I would need to see that bounce in order for me to actually confirm that as the measurable base move, though. That's all. Good eye, though, man. Shiny new things. All these projects are spectacle. Yeah. You want to go based on when you pick your assets, maybe you just determine it based on sector, for example. If you go to the coin market cap and let's say you want to invest in AI, you have quite a bit of options now in this space, right? We have AI agents, DeFi AI, and who knows what else, right? And there's probably real world assets mixed with AI. So it's best to try to pick a category like AI agents, for example, and then do your research through a page like this and determine which ones are likely to succeed in this space. And let's say if it's a lower side down here, let's say you chose humans AI or something like that. You gotta try to give yourself reasoning as to why this is a good pick, whether it be the team, the unlock schedule, the tokenomics, the holders, the holder count, their marketing plan, and then take a look at their competitors, right? So humans.ai is competitor. Think of it as a competitor to everything that's inside the sector. What does humans.ai have that the other ones don't? And if you can't find anything that they have that the other ones don't, then you got to go for something that has unique utility that you think will actually have a positive impact on the world. What problems are they actually solving? And is there someone else doing it better? And if you find out that someone else is doing it better, then maybe you should look at that asset instead to really niche down your investments and make sure you're jumping in a position of strength and not just deciding your choice based on the price tag, right? This could be worth 2 cents right here, but if you give it a different supply, it could be worth in dollar value $1.50. So just really make sure you don't make your decisions based on the price tag, because the price tag is truly, truly meaningless. What matters the most is the supply against the market cap, and how much of the market cap could it absorb from another competitor. I'm looking a lot into virtuals right now as a potential investment opportunity. And it's like an AI agent onboarding platform. I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but as a trader, there might be an opportunity. But as an investor, that's a whole other. I look at things very differently as an investor standpoint. Is it worth holding throughout this cycle against something else? Circulating supply as well. Chadster, that's a good point. Supply is great, but circulating supply is really important. Is there someone holding 80% of the bag and not trying to point at the Trump official token, but something like that should scare you away as an investor if someone has a massive amount of supply, or if there's a bunch of tokens in an unlocked wallet. But let's look at virtuals on the charts here. Let's take a peek at Bitcoin as well. What's Bitcoin doing? It pulled back? Yeah, pulled back a bit, eh? It wasn't worth the risk to reward ratio anyway, so let's see. I'm hoping that we get down to our level here. If I can get myself an 80% win rate using Fibonacci as Fibonacci isn't your entry-based tool, just like a trend line is not your entry-based tool. It's like a preparation tool. So this is a zone where I want to prepare for a potential entry down here. If we get this higher high instead, and if anyone did jump in on this, I apologize if that was misleading, but if we get the higher high on this, I'd recommend rotating your stop loss to this low. Right now we're grabbing a 5-minute order block. Well, no, it's a 3-minute order block, so it's relatively weak, but cool. What we have in ETH ready for a move, potentially. We could look at that too. Is Argus a paid indicator? Yes, Argus is a paid indicator. He's actually the person that created it is a part of the Fanova community. I can go over the indicators during this live, but basically, you're not just getting Argus, you're getting the order block tool that you're seeing on my chart that allows you to see order blocks in multiple time frames. You're also getting the Shi-High indicator, which is a confluence-based indicator that reads the USDT chart to determine the USDT dominance confluences to define locations where you should be preparing for a long or short. And I'll show you how it works in a moment. And then there's this risk management indicator right here, which is probably one of the best risk management indicators I've ever seen, because what it allows you to basically do, see, we have this long position tool here. If I were to click here for my entry, click here for my stop loss, then click here for my take profit, and choose, like, let's say 5x leverage, and I want to risk out of like a $10,000 account, $100, so like 1% risk. Then click on apply. It will, we just also add the fees. Average fees for makers 0.025. Average fee for takers 0.06. And it'll count the fees as well. So this little red line is a representation of when you'll actually break even after the fees of opening and closing your trade. And it'll tell you if you want to risk to lose $100 in your trade, how much margin you should put into that trade. So $3,904.51 at 5x leverage would make sure that when your stop loss gets hit, that you will lose exactly $100. Give or take slippage. Are these indicators Mario's? Yeah, they're Mario's, yeah. Runway asking for TA on Troy. I think someone else mentioned Troy as well. Take a peek at that. So we'll get Troy on Binance. What we got? Oh, this is the 3-minute chart. Sorry. I'll zoom out on the daily first. Oh yeah, last time we were looking at Troy was this level here. And it looks like it worked out pretty well until we hit the previous value area low. Got smacked. Broke this neckline here. And then came right back down. The neckline was basically a support that was confirmed off of this previous resistance, which was also the next key area of interest after this broke. So I can delete that now. We don't need that. That's not going to be very helpful. You should leave this value area here. So if we end up getting a return back up here, we want to make sure that we get acceptance into here so we can rotate back up in case it acts as resistance in the future. We do have a supply concern there because we had like a impulse move, base, impulse move, base, impulse move. So we have two supply concerns along the way up on the daily. Now let's look around. So we have the left-hand side here. We have consolidation. So I'm going to pull a fixed range volume profile from here to here. when it decides to load. There we go. Okay. Pull horizontal ray from here, and we can see that we're getting a support bounce off of this value area. We could pull the point of control in case we get acceptance in that value area again. We got to prepare for the worst. And the value area low as an ideal location to prepare for a long. With that daily order block right there too, that's intense. So if Troy, if you're someone who wants to accumulate this asset and, you know, in hopes that this thing doesn't, you know, get us price discovery, we do not want to see this value area low act as resistance, or else it's doom and gloom for this token. If we instead, you know, see this act as a form of support with a double bottom structure, or maybe an inverse head and shoulders, after grabbing this liquidity from here or here or here, if we have some stacked from beneath us here, so we have some reason to go down lower. Or we could prepare for this potentially acting as a form of support, which is just as likely too. What we don't want to see, if you're a holder of this thing, is a body low below this area here on the hourly, and on the lower time frame seeing it acting as resistance, because then we'll rotate right back down to the point control of this active range, and maybe even lower to the value area low. That's like what you don't want to see. If you are wanting to wait for the bullish potential reaction, I think we're likely to keep going down further, but we're going to have to look at the lower time frames to validate this as potential trade too. We got this demand zone here that we're kind of falling into. And this is our current area of interest right here. This is super low time frames right now, right? We're at 3 minute. There we go. So a break above this could induce a move to at least here, which is pretty crappy. But that's basically where the liquidity ends. But if we see this act as support, we should have a fairly aggressive move to this supply concern here. Right here. Yeah, the structure for a lot of these assets are definitely going to induce a lot of people's test of patience. Because like you're going to have to get the best setups, you're going to have to wait to see if it breaks below these levels. Like these levels here are going to be a great setups for potential longs or potential really great shorts as well. But yeah, right now Troy's looking in a make it or break it moment too. That momentum is pretty steep. Let's look at Bitcoin again. What's it doing? Okay. Have we get that higher high yet? Almost. Or maybe did we already do that? We got a full body higher high. Good sign. Full bodies are a form of price acceptance, right? So when you see them, think of them as their. If you were to look at price action and wicks didn't exist, there are a lot of traders that will participate with their strategy based on price exceptions rather than based on an actual higher high from like a wick takeout. The wicks are very, very, very important to know though where the liquidity is resting. So I can guarantee you that there are people who are jumped in shorts around here and induce more liquidity up here, which kind of acts like a magnet to a market maker to grab it. So you just want to make sure that you're on the same side as the market maker You're not fighting against them. It's no different really than fighting against the trend. They try to fight against the market maker. So here is an opportunity in a moment to move our stop loss to here. So we're about to confirm this as our internal 3-minute strong low. This is it right here. But the moment we get this higher high, this will become it right here. And then you'll be able to move your stop loss from here to here. And what's really helpful when you're a trader, especially if you're using higher time frames, is setting alarm. Fuck, that scared me. The wind just scared the crap out of me. Setting alarms to these levels too. So when you hear them go off, then you're like, oh, cool. I can go back to my desk and adjust my stop loss. So you're not staring at the screens all day. Yep, Troy may be a good short if it breaks the 1 hour. I agree, man. Can we look at DOT? Can we look at DMTR? I'll wait for the discount. Nice bundle. Yeah, there'll be a discount. I'll be able to get you guys. I already spoken to him about it. He's down. I just got to get you guys the. I just got to work with him a little bit more to get it done faster for us, and then we'll be good to go. Or he might need to get tools set up in place because I don't think he's given a discount before. Okay, what we got? So DMTR was the first request. So let's look at that. And I guess we'll go with KuCoin. It looks like I did some TA on this thing. Pretty noisy, so I guess I've done a lot of TA on it. Oh man, this thing just... Oh, that's a wick. That's crazy. Now this is a KuCoin chart, so this might not be a wick everywhere. But if this is a wick everywhere, I wouldn't trade this asset. That kind of crap can really take people off. Let's delete some of this noise. So I had this green box zone is where the price action was relative to this range. This was the local demand zone, right? We obviously mitigated that whole zone here, and we're trying to potentially get a close back above on the daily. If we zoom in on the hourly, oh, it's suggesting that this all happened with a single hour. And right now we're approaching an area of former resistance here. So this green box zone is the range of that demand zone in the past. So we could behave as if we did back then. So this would be our resistance. This would be our support. And we'd pull a fixed range off of this data. Zoom in on the 15-minute. This valley area data is going to be crap. Yeah, I can't even use it. I have to isolate just this zone from here to here. So hopefully we see DMTR act as more support here, then a higher high, so we can just confirm the exit of this range relatively quickly and have a very quick reversal. Because in reality, if this did go all the way down there, it should have wiped out a ton of liquidity if this happened anywhere else. But KuCoin is kind of known for its crazy wicks because of the amount of arbitrage opportunities that happen on their exchange. Their prices are usually lower than other exchanges, so people go there to buy it and then transfer their funds, those tokens, out, damaging the KuCoin liquidity, making wicks more sporadic, and then they sell it on another exchange. So KuCoin can get pretty scam wiki is the quote that a lot of people like to use because of the poor liquidity issues that it has. They just need to ask for more money from the token creators. That's it. That's all I gotta do to fix that. And make sure that their price feed protocol is on point. Well, there's nothing safe I can give you with this right now, other than what I told you about the... Basically, we want to see that support bounce, higher high, exit out of this previous demand zone, and then acceptance back into a previous value area. And if we zoom out, we can find that value area. Let's go to the 4 hour, zoom out a bit. I would use this information here and this information here. We have 3 really good ranges. They're all on separate levels. So we want to see acceptance into this value area, which will happen fairly closely in confluence because it's really flush with this high of this demand zone. So if we get the higher high, we will likely have the acceptance very shortly after. And we can target that value area high, which would likely be this value area low. Oh, I accidentally pulled it too far here. Let's go. I'm giving you guys way too many opportunities for like, that's what she said jokes. Yeah, value area low. It's kind of got a little bit of a gap between the value area high and the value area low. Yeah, so I'll stick to this data until we get up there. It's a waiting game right now. Let's go to Bitcoin's chart, take a peek at that again. I think we got a bit of a pullback. So what would you do in a situation like this to help verify that this could be a potential double top? So if we had price action come up and we're failing to create a higher high, that's an opportunity for us to use this as a neckline for a double top. So if you're concerned that you can be stopped out soon and that you could have taken some profits, a good rule of thumb is to look around on the order books. So let's go to CoinGlass and let's pull up the order books here. What in the world? Look at this. I've never seen a wall like that before. This can't be right. Okay, yeah, it's a glitch. Okay, that makes more sense. It's gotta be a glitch. It's a glitch. Okay, it's a glitch. All right. So you don't have walls like that. That's All right, I'm gonna try to read this. I guess we have. I was gonna recommend for you guys to use this, but let me refresh. Man, we have a sell wall. Small one there. Okay, so a real wall is roughly around 100,420. So there's a sell wall right here. So I'm not concerned. And let's look at the buy walls now. Is there any buy walls down here? Yeah, 99,610. 91,610. So there's buyers waiting right about here. And a lot of sellers waiting right here. So pretty much where this wick is, there might still be some buyers remaining that induce that initial pump. Is there a 1 minute order block? No. It's hard to trust this. So we have a wall 11290. I would give this tool a day or two to work out their bugs because it's looking really messed up. Yeah, 10290. So the wall's lower than we initially thought. 290 right here. So it's close to the confluence of our target. There's a little wall here to buy. I'd maybe take some profits. If you look at the 1 minute. Or just let it ride. Okay. Can we look at dot? I think did we look at dot already? If not, I'll just look at it again. Maybe not today. Yeah, it said 25th. So last time we looked at this chart was on the 25th. Oh, we were waiting for that break. Man, that would have been such a great trade. That sucks that it didn't confirm. If we wanted to see a break at this level to confirm this double bottom, to initiate like a step-by-step swing trade for this falling wedge, we gotta zoom out now on the daily. Pull this downtrending resistance, or support, sorry. This downtrending resistance here. We broke this low. I was hoping that we'd prepare for, we get an SFP instead. A pretty decent opportunity. We had one over here that was incredible, but we didn't get it the third time around. I mark this as a potential barrier. Local resistance. Zoom in on the hourly. So we're at the floor of the falling wedge, like this massive daily falling wedge. But to confirm this as the floor and not give us a lower low and a break to the downside, because I know these are more likely to break to the upside because of how liquidity is like stacked within the structure, but they can still break to the downside. So to confirm that we're actually going to honor this level as a form of support, I would be patient and wait for the neckline break here. And this could turn into a position trade. Like this could be a really good setup to prepare for a much, much bigger move. If this downtrending macro resistance breaks shortly after this. If we zoom in, we have a inverse head and shoulders. So this could be the front run move. If this breaks, acts as support to this breaking here. We have a low time frame supply concern here, right? Impulse move, base, impulse move, and we have the order block within it as well. So hopefully that turns out, because I think that's going to be that could be a good setup. And what do we have? Just curious. Yeah, maybe just an equilibrium bounce. I don't have my equilibrium on there. Style. Yeah. So equilibrium level is a 0.5 level. That's a common retest zone too. So we just need to break this. Get two candles. Like after the break, 2 candle pullback, higher high. Then you can jump in, target 589 while being mindful of the supply concern along the way up. Starting at 582, and then it goes all the way up to around 586. The current strong low within the 5-minute time frame is here. But yeah, that's not. So you could have a good early front run here for that potential massive break. Have you peeked at the new version of the Orderbooks? Could it be easier to read? I haven't peeked at the new one. Let me take a look. What's that total based off of? And the decimal is set to 10. Switch to 50. I don't like this depth chart very much. I like the order books over here a little bit better. Like the literal order books over here. Not the depth chart is kind of bleh. Yeah, I think I prefer the old version. If they fix it, this doesn't look right. Just gotta ignore that, I guess. Okay, we're getting the... Yeah, that buy wall was tapped and just launched the price. Now you can officially rotate your stop loss to here. Now that we actually got that high where the green wick was taken. And we did see that sell wall here, guys, so right above the target is the area of concern. You could technically move your stop loss to break even, actually. Right below this wick here. These candles are messy, but yeah, I can move your stop loss here now. Let's take another peek at that wall. Yeah, it looks things were... Yeah, this thing's definitely broken. There's yeah, the wall is still there, so they get raised a tiny bit. 290, yeah, 290. So that wall is still definitely there. So we should expect resistance here, unless some crazy psycho puts in where 850 Bitcoin worth of volume through it. So we need 850 Bitcoin worth of volume to break through that. Multiply that by its price, and that's how many dollars you got. 850,000. Arrow. Someone wants to look at Arrow and AVAX. Let's look at AVAX. First, we got AVAX chart. Ooh, AVAX is pretty stable. Let me zoom out really quick. Cool, okay. All right, that one's been done. Hit. We got clean that mess up. Let's clean up some of this noise here. Yeah, some of this is not necessary. So let's include this as a value area. Previous value area low. Move this here. Turn it to a point of control. Okay, so if this data is even correct, these value areas are a shit show sometimes. Okay, so there's an SFP opportunity here too. We haven't grabbed that liquidity, but still would definitely mark this low here, this wick, in the center of this range, in case this turns into an SFP. There's a wick over here you could watch as well, but this is like the main area that I'd watch. It's higher, closer to the price action, so unmark that level. And let's zoom back in to lower time frames that we've fixed like the higher time frames noise. Oh, it's very close. Look at Argus for a second. Did we get down below there already? I don't have Argus on this chart. I'm just going to add it really quick. There's added. It might take a little while to render. Okay, it doesn't look like it's gone in there in the the core exchanges. I don't see any. It's gotten a little lower on some exchanges, but barely anything notable. So what I would wait for, man, because like this opportunity here, it's already been gone. If we broke this downtrending momentum here, and we're starting to come up to this neckline level. So any late traders trying to find an opportunity, there's an opportunity to prepare for a short here if we like SFP off this high on the 5-minute, or if we break above, likely hit this previous point of control as resistance, retest, higher high, and then you'd have yourself a good double bottom confirmation with the measurable base move of 35.33. Lots of liquidity stacked through here, but this is a supply concern here. So our target is in line with an area of concern, and it kind of starts at this previous value area low for that macro range that we were looking at on the higher time frames. So you might be forced out around here if we double top and get a change of character, or any form of change of character around there. But this could be a good early entry for hopefully the ideal scenario, break this acceptance into this value area, and then you can hold that trade for a long time, because we'd likely go to like 36, maybe even break out of this downtrending resistance to continue off higher. But this point control is pretty strong on AVAX. I believe we must have entered a trade around here or something, because I have a target here. Or we were looking at something here. It went range bound instead, like right after the confirmation. The range is too long. You should just get out of the high of the ranges and just look for a new setup. Or look at the order books to confirm which side's stronger than the other. Let's go back to Bitcoin. All right, target hit. Looks like the sell wall has already been mitigated. We went past the sell wall. We go to the order books. Yeah, the walls are weak now around that zone. The next wall is at 390 up here. 390. I probably should use something more appropriate, like a horizontal line. Actually type coordinates on it. There we go. So that's the current sell wall. We already grabbed that sell wall. But doesn't mean we have to hit the sell wall. These are people trying to get more money out of the market. And if it's a sell wall of like 1,000 Bitcoin, then think of it like a market maker. And that was pretty close to market maker volume when we hit that level. So it could be someone trying to induce a top to confirm this as a range and stabilize price so they can accumulate more. But congrats to anyone who took this trade. Like, I didn't even take the setup, but it was pretty transparent what was happening there. We got this is their current momentum. Nice. Michael Richard. Argus is a paid indicator developed by a member of Fanova. Oh, nice. Thanks for answering someone else's question, man. Kyle's working out a deal for discounts with this creator for members soon. join Fanova and watch there, in my opinion. Thanks, man. Just if you guys decide to jump into the Fanova Discord, just be prepared for an impersonator, like a fake Kyle, trying to message you. I will not message you first ever. I'll accept your friend requests and reply back, but I'll never send you the first message because I just want to protect people from those scammers, right? So, can we look at Sui and Arrow? So let's look at Arrow. That was a first request from JRMO, and then we'll look at Sui right after. I'm sure Sui's probably doing something wild right now. So, yeah, I'm kind of eager to look at that too. So Arrow was the first one, right? AERO, UCT. A drone finance. It's a finance. If it says finance on it, the first thing you should look at is the tokenomics of the asset before you trade it. Or anything to do with DeFi as well. Because of its minting and burn rate, there could be days that there's a burn days if they mint tokens for their DeFi system. And if you are caught in a short when there's a burn day, you could get burned alongside with the supply. So be careful. Okay, we are in price discovery for this. If this is, there's no dinosaur on this chart, so I'm gonna look around until, let's try KuCoin. That's better. Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay. We're not in price discovery. But we are in, looks like I already marked it, an SFP hotspot zone. What is that, the daily? Yeah. Can we go to the 6? No. 8? Oh, we have an 8-hour SFP. We have a local 8-hour SFP. From here to here. And we grab that. It's not a good... if you're a single time frame trader, you usually end up having a higher win rate than those that rotate time frames because you can switch to time frames to suit your bias. And that's a really nasty habit. So the 8-hour time frame is pretty reliable for SFPs. We grab that. The daily, if you want a daily SFP, we're going to need this candle to close up here. Let's look at lower time frame structure to define whether or not this looks bullish, though. So, like, lower time frame structure does look bullish, so that's one positive. If you're trying to jump in on the SFP and you're trying to confirm lower time frame structure to confirm your bias, like this level here, if broken, would be pretty positive. But this should be an area of concern if you already are in the trade. So we're going to watch this level. And we broke this level with these lows. So technically, this is a strong internal high. So we need to break that. Watch out for this supply concern here. And that could induce the confirmation bounce and allow us to break the momentum here. This is our primary barrier concern way up here at 995. If we get above that, then we can get acceptance back inside this value area again. And this deviation, a lot of people will be looking at this value area deviation for really good long opportunities, and this could be like the last call, basically right here. If this breaks, you can confirm a good trade. Hopefully we get like a pullback prior or above so you can have a good stop loss guard. But overall, like if you're looking at this in a macro sense, like this could be the final low before a reversal. As Bitcoin's been ranging in this 100K location, a lot of alts have been getting their butt kicked. So hopefully we get the reversal soon. Let's look at SUI. That was another request. Go back to Bitcoin chart. Zoom in on the 15. Yeah, so this is our next rotation. Oh, we broke that sell wall. Nice. So that sell wall is probably encouraged by the look left confluence of this neckline. We broke through that. And honestly, from here, guys, I'd be watching this zone now. And we're doing really well. We could end up creating a massive double bottom, and this could have been the early front run entry. This is our next level of interest right here. 102, 160. If we break that, then the measurable base move is basically this point of control. We'll grab from here to here. Yeah, just above the point of control. But this is strong. This is really strong. So just watch out. This volume shelf here is probably should be your first area of interest right here. Like this is this volume node right here is basically its own value area, likely from this ranging price action here that built it up to be pretty strong. So I'd pull a value area from here too. So from here, guys, really it's just about following this strong lows. You can use the 3 minute if you want, but yeah, the 3 minute should be fine. So we haven't got a strong low since here. So we need to have a pullback and a higher high to move our stop loss deeper into the profit zone. The price just teleport up here. Please say cluck cluck and giver's gain. Thank you for the TA. Yeah, cluck cluck, giver's gain. Here you go, man. Yeah, there's a community that's pull up here. Pretty dope community. Billy Goat Tales. These guys do like a free podcast on Twitter about like they manage to get people in for basically like token creators like Sneck, Karma, and all that stuff into like their calls, and they do in-depth questions. Everyone can like ask questions to the token creators and stuff like that, or to help educate them on how assets are created, how liquidity is born, all that stuff. It's pretty sweet. I'll check them out, guys. Yeah, Billy Goat Tales, they're on Twitter, and I believe they have a YouTube channel now. I'm sure people were asking for that enough to get a YouTube channel going now. What do we have? AI play. Near. We could look at Near. Load. Yeah, whenever I hear the term giver's gain, I always think about Billy Goat Tales community. So Near, yeah, you might be right, man. This could be a good play. Zoom out a bit on the daily. So Near's got this uptrending momentum that's kind of been keeping it up since January 24th at the price of $2.50. And right now we're at the uptrending point of interest, while also potentially creating a Wyckoff model and an SFP. The SFP that we want on the daily, we need to have a candle close above this little scratchy line I got going on here. So it'll be at like $4.74. So we need to have that. The space we had 2 weeks ago and Lily AI speak on the space was nuts. Oh, cool. Nice. It'd be good to get some people who spoke, like the AI agent token creators too, on board on something like that, because they're really revolutionizing not just crypto, but the world. If it, if they catches on, pull this momentum here. Lily AI is gonna be my future ex-wife. That's funny. All right, I'm gonna pull this exchange volume profile. Let's see. Here to here. It's value area low. Remember this orange line right here. If near breaks this double bottom neckline and closes above here in the next 3 hours, that's a daily SFP. So this could be the front run to the daily SFP. So if we break this, and then we have the daily candle close here, I'd highly recommend trying to stay in that trade, because when you grab liquidity from beneath these lows like this, it essentially gives the market makers, people that trade with at least $40 million or more, the ability to jump in on a trade with the lowest amount of slippage that they can find in the crypto space. So when these lows are swept, it's a massive opportunity for market makers to get in without the slippage. So take this very seriously. We could end up having this level break, higher high. I would jump in on that. And even that may seem like you're late, but this is a daily SFP that can end up bringing us way up here, or maybe even break this momentum to get us to much higher highs. So I think that I would pay a lot of attention to this. I appreciate you for bringing up near, because this is like an A+ setup. Supply concern here, which could help induce the pullback as well, which is kind of nice. Or cause the rejection, and that will give us a different answer altogether, right? If this ends up causing a rejection instead of allowing us to get the confirmation, and we get the lower low, then we have a whole other different answer. And that answer would be a confirmation, front run confirmation of this level acting as a form of resistance and bring us potentially to as low as 260, which is pretty harsh. But you do have to think about all these little levels here as reversal zones to prepare for. And then you just get the confluences that you need for that trade. Like it could be a 786, could be, I would pull, once that confirms, I would pull something like that. What would be the golden pocket of this if we end up having confirmation? Way up there, eh? I'm going to set an alarm for this. I don't want to. So I'm going to set an alarm on the 15-minute time frame on nearest neckline here at 763.6. Once per bar close. Near potential long create. And I'm going to leave myself some notes for that too. Okay. Near. And let's go back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's doing really well. We're approaching a previous value area high. Let me just double check on that value high in case it's been scrambled around by TradingView's lack of. Okay, it's not. Okay, we're good. All right. So this is a significant level that we have to watch. This could act as a form of resistance, because right now we're dipping into this macro value area, Like this is the hourly time frame. We've been ranging here since November 19th. And if we end up getting acceptance back inside this range, this would be the first step, right? Getting in and then rejecting and creating a lower low. So we could still, even though we kind of came up here already, we could still get a rejection off this level here. So zoom in, see if there's any confluence. So confluence I would look for here, since there isn't really anything on the charts other than the value area and this little micro value area here. Again, this would be something that you'd have to look at the order books for. Is there a sell wall at that level? Are other traders responding to this level? So 101.030. 101.030. There's 500 Bitcoin. Yeah, 500 Bitcoin to be sold at that price, which isn't that bad. It's not, yeah, that's not too bad. That's low impact. So we should be able to break right through that. The 15-minute, yeah, we just had a momentum candle here. Momentum candles is when you see no wicks. Absolutely no wick in the bottom, no wick in the top. Just pure price acceptance. Let's see, we have to... Yeah, we already went through it. $10 passed. What we got in the chat? You're not trading until the FOMC meeting on Wednesday. I think Bitcoin's going to be bearish until the Fed meeting. If the Fed meeting is rate pause, hike, then lower short term. Yeah. If we have a rate hike, and it depends on how investors respond to something like that. I think it would be more likely to have a pause. I don't think we're going to have a hike. We shouldn't lower, that's for sure, but we should at least pause. I think we'll probably be paused for the majority of this year, to be honest. Okay. What else do you guys want to look at? I'm over time and I got to get some stuff done. So I can stay on for another 10 minutes or so. There's just one more thing I need to try to get released in the next hour and 15 minutes for the community. Pauses baked in a hike will cause a dump. A hike will cause a dump on the crypto space because of what it means relative to the DXY. The DXY should get stronger if they do a rate hike. And if the DXY gets stronger, then anything against the US dollar will seem weaker. The inverse correlation impact. Gala, you're long on Gala? Yeah, if you're long on Bitcoin, you should be long on a lot of things right now. There's some late movers like Near. AVAX is doing a push right now of the neckline. So Bitcoin's positioning to this neckline is really, really important when you're thinking about entering trades with other assets. For example, like this is an area of concern, not just an area of interest, right? This could act as resistance and keep us in a range and build potentially a bear flag. That's the downside with these bigger double bottoms is the first test. It could be the first test to confirm a bear flag and cause a strong reversal. So you gotta be cautious of these zones, not just excited for them. So if this acts as a form of resistance, any trade that's relative to like that neckline could end up reversing on us. But these are all looking very positive. We're breaking these necklines on AVAX and we're looking here on Near. So when Bitcoin gets at its neckline here, we should be cautious with our other trades, like NEAR and AVAX, for example, because we could end up having a reversal and slow down the appreciation of these trades. Unless they have crazy wild relative strength, and that's not very common in the crypto space. Where can I buy XAI 4M token in pre-sale? I highly recommend staying away from pre-sales or ICOs. Just stay away from them. I can give you an example as to why, but anyone who's participated in an ICO would also give you an example as to why. The listing price is the promise of your gain for participating in the pre-sale, right? So they could say, buy it for 1 cent and we'll list it for 2 cents, guaranteed 2x gain. But the problem is when they do stuff like that, they're not providing enough liquidity to support it at 2 cents. So it just crashes very, very, very hard. And there's a token that I've been watching called Kybro or Cybro that I want to buy, but I didn't participate in the ICO event because I know I can get it cheaper by waiting for the inevitable crash caused by poor liquidity induced by the ICO. So if we look at Cybro, and I zoom out on this chart, like this thing just launched and it had an ICO event, and you were able to buy it as a VC at these prices down here, 0.015. And a VC is like the person that gets in before the ICO. So VCs will dump on you as soon as they launch because they get it at crazy high discounts. But you can get them at the prices too. All you gotta do is wait for a reversal. I wanted to jump in around here because this is an AI token I think that would do relatively well. But it's showing me that its performance is right now it's pretty garbage. So we got to keep waiting to see until we confirm a reversal. So any ICO event, man, I wouldn't touch any ICOs. Wait until it goes on market and then the inevitable sell-off, and then participate after we confirm the reversal. Preferably on like a 4-hour chart. There's no end in sight right now. This thing could still keep going down, and you could have gotten much cheaper than anyone within the ICO. And all those VCs that don't have their tokens locked will destroy you. I learned the hard way, just like I did with everything else, through ICP, Internet Computer. You guys are probably aware of that token. We zoom out. I bought 4 of these things at the price of, I think it was like $230 or something like that. It went pretty high on some exchanges, but I thought I got it at a discount, buying it around like $100 and some on their ICO thing. And it went all the way down to $2.08 before confirming support. We never confirmed support until here. Like nuts. We had a double bottom opportunity down here, which was great, but you prepare this as a barrier. But this was like when we actually confirmed proper support. And that was, if we think of it in the time factor, that was about 197 days after launch. So you got to be insanely patient. And this is a good token. They just did a really crappy job with their launch. Plus they had some interference with FTX screwing around with it too. So, yeah. Bitcoin testing downtrending resistance on the 15 now. We can take a peek. You said downtrending resistance. You're talking about this momentum here. 2 taps. There's no 2 tap angle here. There's a 2 tap angle here. Yeah, so this is what you drew. Then, if you're talking about. Yeah, this is unconfirmed resistance. So we need a smack down here in order for it to validate. We only have 2 taps on it. 3 taps validates. Yeah, the good draw, man. Luckily, it doesn't seem like it's going to be too much of an area of interest. We're getting acceptance now. We zoom in on the 3-minute. Right here into this little double top value area. We get rejected off of this point of control. Pull back, hit that value area low, then get a higher high. Be a great time to move your stop loss way up here. Here we go. FOMC meeting on Wednesday. I want to take a look at that really quick. So any new traders, one thing you got to be aware of when you're trading is FOMC events. Days that can impact the value of the dollar, like the US dollar. If you're trading in USDT pairs, it's going to be pegged to the US dollar, so you got to keep an eye out on any USD impacting events. So on forexfactory.com, you can audit those kind of events. So for example, on Wednesday, we have federal funds rate. The estimate is no change. So 4.50. It's basically my estimate as well. I think that there are some things that could be said that could cause a potential very, very, very short-term bearish event, just like a micro crash during the hour kind of thing. But I think that there's going to be very little impact from Wednesday's call. But it's good to be safe, just in case. So, yeah, 2 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, there could be something going on there. Advanced GDP is coming out on Thursday. Unemployment claims. GDP monthly. This GDP, I don't think it's going to be a huge change. But there's going to be a bunch probably in the next... Oh, maybe actually there could be a huge change. Like this is we just had the inauguration for Trump, so it makes sense if there are some... Oh man, we just went right through that point of control. Doji tap breakthrough. Well, very little pullback on this so far. It's easy to hold these when they don't actually give you a change of character. Now we're coming up to the value area high. Maybe we're going to pull back here at a higher high. But yeah, any range traders will be watching this like a hawk. And this is an area we can prepare for a reversal, right? There could be a rejection here, or we could break through it, support bounce, then get a confirmation of continuation. But typically you want to wait for a pullback to give yourself breathing room when you get that higher height and a strong low guard for your stop loss. But when you have moves like this and it's really far away from your entry already, it's good to pull out the average true range. Sec here. I don't know what I just did. I just broke my stuff. There we go. Average true range. I'll just pull it up here. So average true range trailing stops colored by H. Potter. That's a good one. And it will add this line right here based on the volume. So it takes the previous 14 candles to generate a line and uses the volume within those candles to kind of give you a location where if you place your stop loss here, you're less likely to be stopped out, and you can trail the price action using it. So initially, when this confirmed a break past the trend line of the indicator, we switched from red to green. So pretty much where our stop loss started, it was recommending for us to put our stop loss there. And as price progressed, it starts chasing the price action from here. So your stop loss, if you're going to be using the average true range to define a location for your stop loss, it would be right here. And that's below the current value area that we're residing in. So it's a decent enough breathing room for you to get an idea of when a reversal will actually be confirmed. I did just get an alert on Cardano, so I just want to take a peek at that really quick. All right, we broke the double bottom neckline on Cardano. This one, well, it's a 1-to-1. It could go further. The measurable base move is right here, in line with this value area low. And it's a 1-to-1. So you're risking to lose $100 to gain $100 basically. So I'd be a little bit trepidatious trying to jump in on that. Look at the 5-minute. No 5-minute strong. Well, we can have a 5-minute strong low here. Don't want to force the risk to reward ratio. 3-minute strong lows. Right here. Even then, that's, yeah, no risk to reward ratio on it. Cardano. Yeah. What we got in the chat? Are we missing anything? I do got to head out, guys. It was fun hanging out. So I got a concrete new schedule now. I was able to delegate a lot of tedious work. I hired on my brother to help me with some stuff that normally keep me away from doing this stuff. So I will be able to do my lives at the exact same time every Monday now, like 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So basically the same time this call started. On every Monday, and I'm going to try to work on eliminating some more things so I can start doing a consistent schedule throughout the week as well for lives too, as well. But yeah, I appreciate everyone who's jumped on. And congratulations to anyone who followed this trade. It's a lot of trust, so I appreciate all the trust that you put on me with this setup. We went way beyond our measurable base target. There's no sell walls really other than the small one that we broke through here. Right about here. So this trade was pretty good. And hopefully our next live we'll find another awesome setup just like this. Now just remember, prepare for a potential macro move around here. This is going to confirm a massive double bottom that could bring us right back up to like 105K. But we have a lot of confluence for this to be bearish, right? This is a neckline of resistance level that can turn into a bear flag. And it's a previous value area low. So what you'd want to wait for is just allow yourself to have the patience for not only a break past this, but for it to act as support with a higher high. So that way, if you missed out on this trade setup, you can use this as your stop loss guard here and ride this up as much as you possibly can before you get your reversal warning. And a reversal warning will most likely happen around 104.2K. because there's a lot of confluence there. We'll meet up with this uptrending momentum. That could confirm us to go back down lower. Very, very, very strong point of control here. So if we break past that, it's likely going to act as a magnet to bring you right to the point of control at 104.97. But the measurable base target is 105.6. Doesn't mean we have to hit that. But based on the volume that was induced in this structure, it tells us a weighted likelihood of liquidity that will stack to provide us that measurable base move. So we have lots of reasoning to get there, but we don't have to get there. All right, guys. I appreciate everyone who liked and subscribed. I appreciate you, Michael, for basically promoting me for me. I'm not really great at that stuff. So I appreciate you writing that in the chat there. But yeah, like and subscribe. It helps a lot with the channel. I've got a goal of trying to reach 10,000 subscribers. And if we reach that goal, I'm going to start providing monthly rewards to the community. Like I'll buy you guys cold storage wallets, crypto airdrops, all that stuff. Because at 10,000 subscribers, the income that you get from YouTube could be used to basically provide decent rewards to your community. So at 10K, I want to start doing that for you guys. Thanks a lot, guys. You have yourself an amazing day. And I'll see you in the Discord. And for anyone who's a part of Fanova or InvestorShare, just going to let you know that I will be dropping you guys a helpful tool very soon by the end of the day. So just keep your ears peeled for that. And